Thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders. We have an update from Cuba where the Cuban gunboat or nationals from their basically they opened fire on 10 people from Florida on a Florida speedboat. We have 10 people in the boat, 6 were injured, 4 were killed. So we have 4 people that were killed. We don't know if this is at this point a drug deal, an escape plan, or just their government acting hostile to us. I do want to remind everybody in America that Russia has recently extracted 4,300 Russians from Cuba, saying that the war is about to start. They know it's getting serious. They also hit about 150 cities in Kiev successfully with drones and missiles last night. We have a unification of Viktor Orban with Hungary, Slovakia, and FICO basically on the side with Belarus, and we see a shift happening, pulling away from the United States as we watch a crumbling of America and our relationship with the EU and NATO. NATO doesn't have any fuel. This is all in the hands of Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump working together at this point. We have ships on either side of Iran. The war is looking very real. At the same time, the United States has been kicked out of several bases as we see a unification of Islam. And this war, I want to remind everybody, is completely Judaism, Zionism versus Islam. It has no business to do with the United States. There's no reason which we should be there, but we are. It's a constitutional violation, full on out as far as I'm concerned. In the United States Constitution, as soon as we wrote it, it said in the beginning with Amendment 1, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Would you not agree with me that every dollar that we give to Israel establishes Judaism? Every dollar that we give establishes Zionism. To the other side, even with Saudi, every dollar we give establishes Islam. Don't you think that this war started before 250 years ago? Well, of course it did. And these are the tools that our government gave us to protect ourselves from getting intertwined in a religious radical war that we should not be involved in. So every dollar we give AIPAC, every dollar that we give to Saudi, and bribery is clearly listed in here. And with what AIPAC is doing, they're clearly bribing the United States of America. And all of our politicians have violated the oath of allegiance, the Pledge of Allegiance. We also have conclusive proof that was released today that the FBI planted the 30-06 trying to frame the killer. Why is the FBI planting evidence? We also have Egyptian cars, Mossad fingerprints, and everything stinks to high heaven. But the news behind me is that 4 people were killed, 6 are injured. Is Cuba kind of calling an outright war to the United States, or will this publicly be used to overthrow the government that they have? Now, I'm going to tell you these things. We're supposed to be on one side, not the other. We're supposed to be on the side of the Jews, or we're supposed to be on the side of Islam. What side are we supposed to be on? That's the question. The reason why I'm going to bring this up is this is something very interesting. What you're seeing behind me is actually in the United States. And this is New Jersey's new invasion. So we have, of course, a Muslim invasion that's happening here. But this is an invasion happening in New Jersey. I want you to give it just a brief listen, just quickly.
You'll try to live a quiet life. You two gentlemen, I saw a video of you walking into 136 Hillside. They asked not to come back.
Amazing.
When you come back, it'll be a trespass.
You say anti-Semitism, I say anti-Goyism.
The Jewish community is extremely racist.
You have a group of people
that call themselves God's people. You are a Semite supremacist.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for them. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids.
I'm arguing that the government said.
That's our money. I pay taxes.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Can I call the cops on you? Look at him.
We may be in a corrupt hellhole. So what am I being pulled over for?
We got a call. Keep your hands on the steering wheel.
This is Lakewood, New Jersey, home to one of the largest and fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, having anywhere from 6 to 10 kids per family, causing the community's rapid growth to spill into the neighboring towns of Jackson, Toms River, Brick, and Howell, causing non-Jewish residents to fear that their town will soon be turned into Little Jerusalem, just like Lakewood.
Tactics within this community, I would liken it to organized crime.
You were the vice chairman of the Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump in 2016. How did you get a relationship with the White House? Who in the White House?
I don't want to say.
Who are we messing with here right now, Chris? Is this video a mistake, man?
I'm going to be honest. The powers out here are pretty immense.
It's not about Jackson. Jackson is a test case. If it isn't squashed soon, is going to take over the entire country.
It's already a problem in all the surrounding towns. You have billionaires from Lakewood being involved, people connected to the President of the United States.
In New Jersey, is there room for a two-state solution? No, there's clearly not. I think it's...
Okay, so I'm just bringing you a little bit of the State of the Union for real. And this was a day ago put together and released. And then you can see that this is I Expose New Jersey's Jewish Invasion. And it's by Tyler Oliveira. And he's put together a pretty interesting documentary about that. And it's just something that I think that America needs to see because it's the direction that we're going. And it's very just interesting. Now, the State of the Union also, at the same time, we go from New Jersey. I'm going to take us now to New York on the same exact day, okay?
Who's seen those videos when they're like, oh my God, the Muslims are taking over New York City? You seen those? You seen those? Let them know that we are taking over New York City.
Tell me about what's going on here today. So today we do this every year, and it is called Tarawih in Times Square. So Ramadan has entered for the Muslims, and Tarawih is a prayer that we pray every night. And so today, the main purpose is just to show everyone what that...
The United States has launched one of its biggest deployments in the Middle East in decades, and that's amid these tensions with Iran over its nuclear program. Now, this includes a naval armada of some 16 ships, including 2 aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln and the Arabian...
To Whitechapel in London to do some interviews in the area. We started having a guy follow us around with his cell phone and come up to us and basically say, like, you're not allowed to film here, which we perfectly are allowed to film here. It's a public street. We're literally going to get arrested for standing outside a mosque.
What are the limits of one-sided tolerance? For Lauren Southern, the answer came from asking a few questions in front of a camera. Let's see exactly what she asked people in Whitechapel.
Well, we do have certain things that we need to basically be in very, we need to pay attention to what's happening behind me. China is on the move, and they've been on the move infiltrating here in the United States. I just gave you a taste of New Jersey, just gave you a taste of New York. Wake up. Wake up while the coffee is here, because in the blink of an eye, you keep on your couch. What you knew, what you thought was America. will be just a memory. And that war that's over there, it's going to be playing from New Jersey to New York. That same war that they're fighting is going to come over here. Now, while we've been sleeping, paying attention to the war in Iran, China releases 5 new submarines. Russia releases its largest battleship. China's outpaced us on the submarine. All of these missiles, all of this gear that you're seeing behind me is set for just the United States of America. Trump, please do not go to China. Don't eat anything over there. Don't go over there. We are at war. You think they're making all this for no reason? You think they're selling this to everybody just because they want to have a good day? No, their eye is on the prize. The prize is the United States of America. The CM-302 was just gifted by China to Iran. Newsflash, what is the CM-302? This is basically an outright threat. And if our aircraft carriers get destroyed, it's courtesy of Xi Jinping. He has been gifting this. It is a very maneuverable supersonic missile. We can't stop it. We know it. And there's several of these toys out there. So we're playing a lot of bravado. This guy, this dirtbag behind me is dirtbag number 1. He's helping out this guy. And the reason why they're teaming up against us is because we're on the side of, I'm not going to even say Israel. We're on the side of Netanyahu. I could break down, for instance, even the Japanese alphabet, where there is hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Now, kanji comes from China, but the katakana actually has an overthrow very similar to Aramaic, and of course the language itself is very much like that. In Shintoism, they were both were the black boxes, but I was amazed at the DNA and basically Japanese DNA coming out of the Egyptian pyramids. This basically behind me is the new toy that is being gifted. And also, if you check out the first pictures of Muhammad, tell me he's not a Chinese guy. This is basically what China is giving. And they have given aircraft. They have given an array of missiles. And their Navy is there. Iran's Navy is there. Iranians, and they're talking about doing a deal, but stuff has already been given on credit. This war is not just going to be against Iran. This war is against Russia. This war is against China, but it is China and North Korea that have nuclear arsenals. And that is how Iran is ready to basically get into a very aggressive tactic with us immediately. And Iran is set and determined to sink U.S. warships. And after our Venezuela takeover for Israel, well, the world has responded with that and with gifts to China. So these are the gifts that you're seeing behind me. The gifts from Xi Jinping to Khomeini as Khomeini shouts death to America. Of course, we have allies, and tell me, this is our ally here behind me. What has he done for America except stir up the ant pile? Separate us from Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Lebanon, and the list grows daily. And no matter who he picks in America, we pick his side because we have to, because he is our ally. And because he's our ally, well, if he wants to make all of Africa our enemy tomorrow, I guess that means that's the case. If all of Europe is our enemy tomorrow, that's the case, because they have a spin on the Bible, you see. For some reason, when you're from Poland, you have the right to come down in the last 70 years and make a claim on property, even though through DNA you can't prove who you are. And you want us to believe in your story. The grace was given to Abraham and his descendants. And out of his 2 kids, the oldest one was Ishmael, the father of the Muslims. So we have the father of the Jews and the Muslims, and they have been blessed. May I ask that you take your blessing from New York and New Jersey, take it back to your country, and can continue your fantastic family relationship that you've been carrying on, and squabble over who's blessed over there, so that we don't have to get involved into your constant wars, because I see nothing that we can do that can help you. And you squabble over who is the best when it has nothing to do with us. You see, if we truly want to give everybody a right to stand on independence, Judaism doesn't allow anybody into it, and Islam doesn't accept anybody who isn't part of it. Therefore, they both have not evolved past the separation of church and state. And if you believe in Israel, does that mean you believe in the government of Israel? I will remind Christians throughout the Old Testament that Israel kept on picking a bad king or a bad priest, and every time they did, they would lose. If your education fails you, remember the book of Esther starts with Zedekiah, and they had him very much like Netanyahu. And Nebuchadnezzar came, chained him, killed his kids in front of him, gouged his eyes out, and made him eat table scraps underneath his table. I could go on about how they picked another king because of his height, another king because of his popularity, and every time they picked the wrong king, the king that did not follow God, somebody that followed God more closely came in and had victory. So don't be easily brainwashed. For wide is the path, and many shall follow it, and narrow is the way of the truth. But understand all these toys behind me, courtesy of Xi Jinping, to their crash test dummy, Iran. We can't say anything because we've been using the Ukraine as our crash test dummy to Russia. But over the last 5 years, we've lost, and we've lost every time. While we have dramatic smoke screens here at home from Erica Kirk questioning if she killed her own husband. The kids, were they his? And now we know the FBI planted some evidence. We also know there were 12 Mossad agents, cell phones around him at the time, and somehow Egypt was there. Well, of course, this was a future president of the United States. Anybody who holds sway that is opposite to their agenda is a threat to them. And I want you to know that. So we have this new armada. We have this new missile, courtesy. And China has gifted it. And we have also got now a new report. And this is from the Mujahideen. And we don't know if there's validity to this, but this is something brand new. So as we leave China and head to Iran, did Khomeini die last night? That's the news. We had 200 personnel come in the Mujahideen while the State of the Union address was going on. They report to have a casualty of 100 men. They report to have taken out the Ayatollah. I cannot confirm if this is real or if this is caused because of the new fake media. And now the United States government has opened up a portal as of last night so that Iran could begin communications with the United States. And their first report between the United States was, in fact, your mission was successful. Mujahideen, out of their 200 guys, went into the tunnel and, in fact, overthrew Khomeini. We don't know if this is true, but this is some of their first reportings back to us. Okay? And these are just things that I want you to see. And we don't know what the situation is or who will be in charge. What I do want you to see is this here behind me is Times Square in New York.
Who's seen those videos when they're like, oh my God, the Muslims are taking over New York? So you seen those? You seen those? Let them know that we are taking over New York City.
Okay, so you got Mondami, and now you have a city that's falling apart. You will see a dramatic shift in the status quo of New York. It will start looking more like Chicago. It will start looking more like New Jersey. The Big Apple shall fall. Every single thing that he said was a lie, and now you know that there's some sort of Jeffrey Epstein connection. We don't even know it could be his dad. But we've been basically bamboozled in every single way. And Mexico, as we speak, is following basically into a civil war. So through the open borders, we have Great Britain, Ireland, all of Europe, the United States, losing our culture to a breeding battle, and to two cultures in particular that are fighting each other tooth and nail to take over something that they think is better than where they came. Well, if where we have is better than where you've come, why try to change it at all? Anyways, that's part of the news for today, and I wanted you to know the State of the Union was great. It felt very uplifting. But does it paint the picture of the New York that you remember? And the answer that I tell you is no. I think since Obama, we have been opened and flooded with an Islamic takeover. And that's not just an opinion, it's a fact. If you go back 20 years in the United States, you would not see this. If you go back 40 years, you didn't see this at all. And at this rate, what I'm telling you is in another 20 years, every single bit of our country that you remember will be completely gone and a part of history. Meanwhile, at the same time, our country is allowing our school systems to steal our homes. Well, what happens? Look what happened in Los Angeles, LA Unified today. It's going on right now as the FBI raids the head of the LA Unified, where we have the head of the Unified School District and Superintendent Alberto Carvalho steals over $70 million. My question is, like I said, if over half of your money is regarded as fraud, should the schools have a right to have school tax? And it's something that I brought up because property tax, it hits you, but school tax is just right there with property tax. But when we see people that are ahead of our school boards literally embezzling funds, when we see the Leering Center, when we see all these open loopholes to just gouge us, and then if we don't pay these taxes, you steal our homes, we need to have a method to just say, sorry, you've abused your rights to taxes for schools from Los Angeles to Texas to New York, all throughout the United States. Take it out on the gas tax or something. But we cannot be hit by constant fraud from illegal aliens, from superintendents that are smuggling millions of dollars with no accountability. Think of the millions of people that have lost their homes. Think of the hard-earned money of that $72 million this guy stole, and how many people were losing their homes if they didn't pay that LA Unified school tax that this guy just wanted to use at the whim of however he wanted to. And let's say $20,000 would have made it to where you lost your home. Does this superintendent, do schools have the right to use our tax monies when they're not overseen, not regulated? I mean, 72 million you're getting by with right here. If we do a comb through on the United States, it's going to be bad everywhere. When we see the Leering Center, Michigan, Minnesota, California, it's out of control. When you see the size of certain stadiums and everything else, it's getting to the point where they're using as much money as colleges and universities. And is there oversight? Well, we're finding out that there's not. And if there's not oversight, we as a nation need to form cases to get together. By the way, I also need get a lawyer in the state of Oklahoma immediately as well, so you can talk to me. Of course, I've got so many, when you're drilling wells, you have so many different cases that pop up. So Texas, Oklahoma, reach out on different property objectives so we can clear up title, because we got a lot of work to do, actually, and I've got to keep on with my objective as far as news. But again, Carvalho's home was raided. His office was raided by the FBI, and that's going on right now as they're going through his property. Here's a heads up for the Navy. Something new that's just come out. Mosquito drones. Do they have mosquito drones? Do they have them? Yes, they do. This is new pictures, new evidence, all up and down the coast of Persia, Iran. They're ready for the USS Gerald Ford, and they will be hitting you hard with something so small you might not even be able to pick up on the radar. And these are mosquito drones. So we're going to have mosquito drones you're fighting. You're going to be fighting our gear on one side through Saudi, and then on the other side, you're going to be fighting China and Russia's top gear. And new things, new missiles, Mach 10 coming at you from 2 different countries, and hordes of mosquito drones. And so my recommendation is that this war is not going to happen. If it does, we will take heavy casualties and come back with maybe half of our ships. Iran at this point has been too set up with advanced systems, S-300, S-400, S-500. He has been given basically 2 Mach 10 sets of missiles, both high and low from China, and what he has from Russia we do not know. Can we handle that technology? China answered with no. We know after 650 Mach 10 missiles, you're out of ammo to protect yourself from us. So they made sure that there's an extra 50 just to knock us and our entire strike group out of into the depths of the ocean. Those are Xi Jinping's exact words. So, Trump, are you meeting up with this guy? How is he your friend? And if he is your friend, that brings a lot of questions. What we need to do is form an alliance, if anything, with Vladimir Putin in the name of Christ. Your synagogue of Satan relationship with the known criminal of Israel has separated us from every ally that we have. I've showed you the Jews in New Jersey. I've showed you the Muslims in New York City. Minnesota, Michigan's looking the same, and so is Plano, Texas. So if you want to know how this is going to work out for America, well, at this rate, America will be over in 20 years. And mark my words, Great Britain and Ireland, you have 10. And so the time is now, and I'm just giving you something to cogitate about this. We have only one way in which we can have justice and have basically any sort of recall for ourselves. And it's almost like we've hit another crusade type of moment. We need to understand that certain things that we've practiced in our past are not necessarily the right thing to do at all times. And Iran pushes back against Trump. This could be a game changer. And this is ahead of the critical talks in Geneva over Tehran's nuclear program. Basically, you can see the war map here behind me as we're assessing it. We have basically 2 strike groups out here, and we have 1 battle group inside. Bahrain, Qatar, UAE. We've been moving our planes back into central Jordan and also in Israel. We got another strike group, USS Gerald Ford, out here in the Mediterranean, but we've got a lot of heavy stuff from Turkey, and Turkey's also not looking at us like they used to with NATO. So those are the things. We're having pretty huge clashes that are happening out there. Like I said, we don't know if Khomeini was overthrown, but what we do know is that we have a lot of, what's behind a lot of that is all caused by us, and we do know that. So those are the main things to talk about. Again, here's the war map just so you can see. We have pulled away from a lot of the UAE and the coast. We're moving further in. Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait. We're getting out of the range from where we need to be. We might be over here. We got the U.S. Gerald Ford Strike Group over here again. But Putin's can hit us pretty hard coming down from the north with Iskandar and everything else. So there is a dominance that Putin can assess directly through the Black Sea and also through Turkey. And since we lost that alliance with Turkey because of Netanyahu bombing Lebanon countless times, including this week, and also with the pagers, his objective with hitting Lebanon is to activate Hezbollah, to activate the end times. And that is his whole entire methodology, make no doubt about it. It's and he's using the Bible so that he can bring the end times, because after this he has nothing left to do. These are just simple facts and things that I'm trying to tell you as far as what is going on. Now, the invasion's very real from both sides, okay? And that's just something that we just need to pay attention to. Are we the Goyim? Is that what we're referred to? Well,
as the Orthodox Jewish community consolidated political power in Lakewood, taking majority control of the Township Committee, Planning Board, Zoning Board, and School Board, financially depleting the public school system for non-Jewish kids, overwhelming local infrastructure, and turning a once quiet town into a densely populated, over-trafficked Jewish enclave prioritizing Jews over non-Jews. Before I investigate the Jewish takeover of Lakewood and of the nearby town of Jackson, I first want to visit the town where the blueprint was born, Muncie, New York.
someone like David Badner saw the opportunity a few years ago. He bought 50 to 100 houses in Muncie. I believe that he single-handedly, in a certain way, turned around Muncie. These are opportunities that come up every once in a while, and someone has to step up to the plate.
Villain News. Thanks for meeting up on such short notice.
And so Somalia chose Michigan, and they chose Lakewood. And glad it wasn't Lakewood, Texas. Maybe they got confused. This is not the first time this has happened. Believe it or not, years and years ago, someone was, I thought, a genius to move all the Armenians to Glendale, Pasadena, and they moved, and that's how they're all there. So here we have Lakewood, New Jersey, and it is now New Little Israel. Of course, Los Angeles, Hollywood was Little Israel as well. But these are things that happen just like Chinatown throughout the United States. Does there need to be a sort of regulatory effect on cultures, isolated cultures, cultures that do not integrate into the United States, or religions and races that do not establish a freedom with other religions? What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to go over this, because this is applicable to everybody. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion. Now, what about communities that do establishment of religions? And if that grows to where it has to be within that state the only religion, now you have a Congress that gets back into establishing. Now, when they roll and we see Congress and the Senate helping establish Judaism, or talking how Israel has a right to protect itself, does that not violate the first rules of Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion? I mean, you don't even have the rights to say these words according to our Constitution, is what I'm getting at. And if a religion or a faith or a culture makes it to where people can't have that faith or be a part of that religion or culture, well, then that faith and that culture are unconstitutional. Anyways, that's my spin on it. These are my opinions. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to put this on any news channel or radio channel throughout the United States, you're more than welcome to. God bless each and every one of you. Good day.